What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Joe. An exciting time to be alive, I am sure. This is finals series, finals fever, and all of the good things that come with that. Competitive mega round, $1,000. It's always great to be able to say that for an Age of Mythology tournament. It is special thanks to an anonymous donor. He did not want to be named. He was like, I put forward 500, and the donor put forward 500, and he's just like, he heard the tournament was on. He's like, yep, have some money. And I'm like, all right. Cheers, bud. You're all the best. Anyways, we've seen 2 wins here for Ulysses. Ulysses has used his Uranus, used his Chronos. So the aggressive Atlantean gods are no more for Ulysses. He no longer has them. He does have Gaia remaining, so that, in my opinion, is arguably an A or S tier god right now on Vubli. But he doesn't have any more of the aggressive Atlantean gods. Joe, on the other hand, has only really used Isis to get. He's only had Isis wins, so he can still use his Ra, he can still use his Set, he can still go in with his Zeus or his Uranus, or even his Norse. He's decent as well, so you might want to go for that. And we'll see how things are going to shape up here in this game, as we do get what looks to be a fairly cheeky watering hole variant. It's not watering hole, but it is a cheeky watering hole variant. The reason why we say it's a watering hole variant is because we get these lakes on the sides of the map that do kind of remind you of watering hole, but the difference is that they are fairly specific, whereas watering hole is much more random. So this variant always has this beautifully long stretch of water which cuts the opponent's base off from you, and it's always going to be this big kind of Y shape on the corner. If you think about it on a side like this, you have a little Y over here, and there is this little line that happens at the top as well. So that's a thing. And it just means that there's going to be some safe resources up in these big pockets here where it's going to be a little bit harder to raid. So unlike some of the other competitive mega random maps, you could say that this map is a little bit more safe, which this is what makes competitive mega random. I mean, we've seen so many games thus far, but this is what makes competitive mega random so cool, is that there is every different variant of, for every person's style, there is a variant that would, that style would be accentuated on. So the name of the game with competitive mega random is adaptability, and your ability to read the map layout, read the resources on the map, and determine what the best strategy is within the first few minutes of the game, and then go from there to see what's going to happen. And in this game, we are seeing Ulysses say, you know what? Forward temple. Forward temple, I'm going to go for the jugular. He is going for an Athena rush here, and it's going to be incredibly brutal. It's going to be an exciting time to be sure here. Ship of the Fingernails is also on the front, so he's going to be able to grab that, put that in the temple very fast. There's also a relic over here, the blue crystal shard, extra 5% gold would gather rate. For those of you playing at home, you might want to go and look at the cheeky income sheet to see when that's good and when that's bad. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't actually know off the top of my head when it's good and when it's bad, but it's worth grabbing nonetheless here, as Ulysses going to be advancing relatively fast here at a 450 advance with a Jason out, going to be going after the villagers on the front. Joe's still not advancing just yet. He's got himself villagers over here chopping the wood down. Over here we see some walls coming up. Joe taking his time. Not coming through. Will be fairly delayed here as the Jason moving forward. But with 10 villagers on this position, it's going to be a tough one for the Jason to really get a whole bunch of damage here. Joe's one of the best at simply just fighting off this Jason here, as the Pharaoh's going to move around and continue his journey to empowerment. Enlightenment? That doesn't quite work. Seeing the villager moving around on this position, the Pharaoh going to be fighting this one off. As you see the granary attempt here from Joe, as He's just shanking away as best as he can. Joe with only 3 villages on gold. I am confused as to what he's going to be going for here because it's not a fast second town center. Could just be a fast heroic. The lost art of the one town center raw fast heroic is real, as the unit's going to be fighting off over here again, and the villagers pull back. The Pharaoh gets pulled as well. The Minotaur going to be coming in onto this position here. Do we see any buildings getting dropped? We're going to be seeing a fast second town center here for Ulysses, it seems, as the Minotaur comes in onto this position. The villagers still shanking, and Joe going to have to pull back. He's got 1 cow here. He does have an Auroch here as well. So that's what it is. The villagers turning around, trying to take down the Jason yet again. Jason gets pulled back. The Pharaoh going to get a couple of shots over onto the Minotaur here. We'll see what's going to happen here as the Auroch does go down. The Pharaoh going to move around to try and empower this one up. This is an open watchtower here as well. Like, ironically, like, while maybe Athena Rush would be a little bit tough to pull off here for Ulysses, it probably would have been the way to go, especially if he hit this this food first, take these naked towers down, and then go forward. But there is shifting sands he has to play around, so it is a little bit challenging. And now Ulysses is going to be making himself military academy with the hoplites coming through. He's got himself the Odysseus already. Is there a position in which the Odysseus can hang out? Answer: yes. This is, and let's actually see if Ulysses knows this or not. Answer: he does. So Ulysses should be making an incredibly fast rush to send his Odysseus here. Set that on passive stance, and then Joe's going to cry a little bit and have to cast Shifting Sands on that one because he didn't protect his gold mine well enough with these walls. But the town center just about to come up for Ulysses. Now, here's one thing that I don't think a lot of players are going to be too familiar with. It is somewhat modern theory, and not many Greek players are doing it, but the idea is that Greeks shouldn't actually make archers against Egyptians, ever. Except for if they go for an Athena rush or some sort of classical rush. If they go for a 1 town center aggressive play, that's when you build archers. If you're going for anything 2 town center related, you just build hoplites and you build hippocons, and then you are attempting to skip your archers so that you can build farms and you can get yourself Heliopolis. You don't need to get yourself Toxotes at all in this matchup. There's no need. It really doesn't assist you kind of ever in a big way. There is a point in which you might want to go Petropolis Toxotes in the hyper late game, but even then you're probably more thinking Myrmidon Heliopoli or Hoplite Heliopoli at that point, depending on if you're playing Zeus or not. We are seeing Ulysses getting his archery range down, which it's kind of an unknown theory, but whatever. I'm saying it, and maybe people will try it at some point and go, hey, what? You're right. Yep. Remember how you don't build archers against Atlantean? Yeah, the same rules apply to Egyptians. Alrighty. So, anyways, we do see the rock moving forward right now for Joe. He's got himself the Patsukos in that one. Going to be looking for a little bit of pressure. He does have to put pressure onto his opponent. So right now we see walls coming up, and this is smart from Ulysses, but it doesn't actually make him. As we see my lights going on and off, it doesn't actually make him lose. It doesn't not necessarily lose, as we see the Patsuka's actually getting sniped. It doesn't actually make him safe here, because one very easy way to avoid these walls is to position your rock over here, send your units around the side, and then jump in the rock, and then jump over here, and then you are in your opponent's base. Classic shenanigans. As now we see the Pegasus just hanging out on this. Ulysses built a Pegasus. Yes, I love Ulysses for building a Pegasus. As Joe's going to be attempting to pump out his units. He still hasn't farmed here in this game, as he's still eating Aurochs and all that other good stuff. So Joe's a little bit missing his spike here in this game. He could go for a Locust on this position. Villagers getting pulled back, trying not to lose too many villagers over there. As the rock just hanging out over on this position, smartly doing so. We'll see if he's going to use that technique I was talking about a little bit earlier here. as the Katoska boss does get taken out. There are a handful of villages on this gold mine over here, handful of villages over here. If we have Omniscience, where would the best locust place be? It seems like it'd be on the home gold mine where there's 7 villages at this point. As Joe knocking on, holy.
Love
Ricky
you,
G.
bro.
Ricky G, thank you so much for the $85, my friend. You are a absolute legend among men. The support. Much love. Mwah. I love you too. All the good things. This is how we see. I'm all flustered. As we see the rock picking up the units, going to drop them over here, and now Joe is in Ulysses' base, and Ulysses is going to have to do something about that. His army is completely out of position. However, he does have hoplites, and he does have restoration, and this Migdol stronghold is relatively exposed. There's a tower helping it out, but no units onto it. As the units do spot these villages over here, Joe not paying attention though. Oh, Joe is paying attention. He turns around, and that's going to be 7. That's going to be 7 villager kills over on this side of the map here, as the villagers are attempting to retreat back as best as they can, but they will all get taken out, and Joe is going to be very happy about that one. Still has Locust remaining, but the very terrifying response from Ulysses is still available. Joe not paying attention to his chariot archers, definitely cannot be losing them at this point in the game. Watchtowers coming through for Ulysses as the army is going to be starting to move forward to attack Ulysses' main base here. We'll see how this one's going to be going as the units do push in. The chariot archers are out for Joe. He's trying to make as many of them as he possibly can. He does spot this location over here, going to be taking down these villages as best as he possibly can. No retreating over here just yet. We see the locusts getting dropped, villages getting pushed back, 2 villages going down, 3 villages going down, villages jumping into this location, as we do see a shifting sands coming on the back, rain getting thrown down here as well to block the ceasefire, and the units getting pushed back. An incredibly beautiful play there by Joe as he manages to prevent the Ulysses counterattack, kills off a bunch of villages, casts rain to block the restoration, and forces Ulysses back here. Now Joe has to figure out what the next step is. Joe's used all of his upgrades. Joe should go Mythic Age here. If Joe goes Mythic Age here, I'm going to go hats off to Joe. He completely understands what one town center Egyptian is. If Joe goes for a second town center here, I scratch my head and say, why didn't you go Mythic Age in this position? Do we see a marker getting thrown up? No market. I'm sad. We're going to see a town center. We're going to see. There's going to be a town center getting thrown. The hat. Is there any upgrades? No upgrades. Come on. Mythic Age. Mythic Age Joe. You got the rain. You get the food income. It's all coming through. He's building axe, hand axe. Oh, you forgot plow. A classic. A classic. You forgot plow. Oh, dearie me. We see the rock getting grabbed over here yet again. Going to jump over onto this side. Thanks so much for the 11 months, Ricky G, as well. Coming in hot with the resubscribe as well. I love you, my friend. Thank you so much. As Joe getting a little bit out of position. He cannot be taking that damage here in this game, and he's going to grab the town center. Oh dear. It doesn't matter. This is completely a valid play style. It's just the heroic age kind of raid into Mythic Age is a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun. As the rock coming in onto this position over here. Here is actually where he needs to go, and there is no way through. There is no way through Ulysses' base without flying over watchtowers here. As Joe is going to be doing that, he will spot some villages over here. He might actually lose said rock, so he's going to have to retreat that one back. A couple of villages will actually end up getting taken down as he's going to be retreating away, and does end up falling. So nice raid there for Joe. 2 town centers is up. Villages coming over onto the wood, onto this position here, and Joe going to be looking for something to target down as this game is continuing on. Odysseus moving forward here to say, get out of here, Mr. Rock. But now the very terrifying position for Ulysses to be in, and he's got no defense to these raids as the unit's going to come through and start targeting down the villages on this gold mine. There are 18 villages here on this position, but the Hippocon coming through in great fashion here, in perfect timing to come to the rescue, but they're not attacking. They need to attack to defend the villages, and at this point, Joe basically has to say, well, I have to just sacrifice my units, take down as many villages as I possibly can, because there's no real escape path there. Hippocon got 5.5 speed. Chariot Eyes, you got 5.5 speed. Maybe the chariot archers can escape somewhat, but it's going to be a slow burn there where that's concerned. As now the chariot archers are going to keep on pushing in, keep on taking down units. Joe is playing this aggressive Ra very, very nicely as this game is continuing on. But after all is said and done, the game feels very, very equal at this point, with Ulysses dropping himself the third town center. Yes, we've had a lot of villager kills, but Ulysses is still in front on the villager count. The thing that Joe is in front on right now is technology and units killed lost. As the rock coming over here, going to actually pull in a handful of these units to try and attack these Hippocon over here. As he's going to pull over, he's got 6 cavalry, 9 chariot archers to drop over on this position and take down these Hippocon here. Boom, there they go. And now the town center is going to be under attack yet again here. As the Hippocon getting taken down, the units pushing forward here for Ulysses, trying to get through this gate here and get more pressure onto Joe's main base. Remember, these hoplites are Zeus hoplites, so they take down walls, they take down migdols very, very fast. But more villagers are going to be getting taken down. Osiris now on the way here for Joe. No bolt for Ulysses, so that son of Osiris is going to be a really, really big help. The villagers retreating away now. Remember, this is the only gold mine right now for Joe. He's actually got, I tell a lie, he's got 700 gold left in his main base, but this is the only real safe gold mine outside of his main base here. As the villagers retreating back, the chariot archers going to town on Ulysses' main base here, killing off villagers left, right, and center. Villagers now throwing down a Migdol stronghold over here. We see the restoration coming through for Ulysses. There's a bit of a desperation attempt here. He's going to be able to take the Migdol down. Ulysses is at 130 of 130 population, but right now Ulysses wants damage done, and he wants it done right now. The villagers jump onto this gold mine, going to finish that off very, very fast. The Migdol gets dropped over here for Joe. He doesn't really care. He's got plenty of population here as the army going to be moving over onto this position. The villagers getting pulled off of that gold mine there. One thing that Joe might have wanted to do is send a rock around on this side as well to jump over this gate, but I feel like he could be able to kill this gate fast enough here as well. Villagers on this position going to be getting taken down as well, as Joe does notice that. There's the Mythic Age hit for Joe, as he's going to get that mummy out. He's going to get himself a son of Osiris as well in the near future. Ulysses grabs the forward town center, though. That's a very, very aggressive town center to be grabbing in this part of the game, as the villagers are getting taken down incredibly fast over here. 60 villagers to 68. There's the son of Osiris going to be pushing through the villagers on this gold mine over here. Joe does have a Migdol on this position, has the son of Osiris. His army very much, I would say, out of position, but getting damage done nonetheless, as a very chaotic game is ensuing here, as the son of Osiris wants to get that first shot off, still not able to. The mummy coming in over here picks off the Hippocon. This rock is a very, very dangerous rock to be using here. 21 HP, you pick off the rock, you kill a son of Osiris. The son of Osiris actually going to be very much out of position here. The Toxotes are in range to start firing. The villagers coming through here to defend. Joe can make some mercenary cavalry here if he so chooses, as the units here from Joe still picking off villagers of Ulysses. Villagers now over here for Ulysses on that gold mine, as the mummy does manage to pick off even more units, getting that special through, getting the minion in to help out. The army of Ulysses is dropping like flies here. 123 of 145 population to Joe's 111 of 130 population, as Joe manages to hold. Ulysses pushed back. There's no siege works up just yet for Joe, I don't think, and Ulysses going to be somewhat happy. Joe's going to be somewhat happy. Ulysses has got 3 town centers. He's lost a lot of villages. The chariot archers all falling over here. And Joe's going to have to figure out a way to kill off this town center. Now, one thing he can do is take control of this water over here and siege down this town center with siege ships. This town center over here can equally be sieged down with sieged ships, I would say, from this lake or from this part of water over there as well. As the son of Osiris getting pushed back, Joe really needs more production here in this game. He's got plenty of resources in the bank, and we are seeing that Migdol stronghold getting thrown up over here. Is the Hippocon going to come in and start causing just a little bit of problems here for Joe? He's only got 1,400 gold left over there as the unit's pushing through. Joe very much out of position with his son of Osiris. Has to be careful. Going to be pulling back here, as he definitely needs to be safe. If that is, if you understand, he can't go too aggressive here, it would seem. As now Joe pushing back, going to take down the villager here. See the wall getting torn down by Joe as the Migdol stronghold going to be shooting at the Jason as best as it can, as the villagers here getting caught out just a little bit. We see this these two chariot archers getting chased back to the other side of the map over there. And we see catapults starting to come through for Joe as another Migdol stronghold coming up on the front here as the villagers are attempting to make it to safety. Ulysses definitely with somewhat of an advantage now in terms of villager count, but the army quality for Joe is still there. How are the upgrades going? We do have copper weapons through for Ulysses. I would actually argue that copper mail is the best upgrade to be getting in this situation because it makes those cavalry slightly less strong here. As now the Toxotes pushing through to try and take down these cavalry as best as they can. Copper mail now coming through for Ulysses, which is going to help out a ton here. Villagers in this corner looking for a gold mine. There's not going to be a gold mine there. All the aggressive raids that have happened by Joe in this game have been shut down. The catapult going after this town center will indeed be able to take that one down very, very soon here. But Ulysses on the way forward. Joe here trying to make cavalry out of that Migdol, trying to make chariot archers out of the other one. The Son of Osiris is going to be a very, very big help in defending this push here because it does so much damage. But this catapult here needs to be taken down. We see the nice marker there from Joe pulling back his Son of Osiris. He can stay fairly far away from the fight and be in a good position here as the town center. 100 HP remaining. Is this catapult going to be enough? Not quite. Oh, he goes like 1 HP, barely stays alive there as the catapult does get taken out, but another one on the way here to finish that one off. Ulysses cannot continue fighting in this position. Copper shields coming through as Ulysses has to kind of retreat back. We see the mummy helping out a ton here as Joe's now at 110 of 130 population, Ulysses 115 of 145 population, and the town center will indeed be falling here in this game as Joe's going to be looking to grab it in the near future here as he's pushing through in onto this position. Has to be careful of his Son of Osiris not to be getting taken out. A couple of stables getting thrown down on the front over here as now Joe pushing in to try and take out these Hippocon as best as he can. He's going after them now. We see the Odysseus coming in to take out that mummy here. He does miss just a little bit, but the beautiful micro from Joe pulls back in time to not lose his mummy there. But now the Son of Osiris is getting caught out just a little bit. Going to have to pull that one back. The catapult pushing in onto this position. Ulysses is going to be grabbing this town center over here as best as he possibly can. The Toxotes managed to get a little bit of damage done onto the Son of Osiris here as more units streaming in for Joe. He's got a ton of wood in the bank, but not a whole lot of gold. He doesn't have himself shaft mine in this game just yet, which is a very, very big ticket upgrade that is missing, and a big reason why he's got no gold left. No market up over here. He does have a market on this position, so he can sell some resources here if he needs to. But Ulysses' pressure here is unrelenting. Irrigation coming through for Joe now to try and get himself a little bit more food in this game. The villagers coming onto this town center to grab it back for himself. And while this is going on, Ulysses is also getting this town center as well. Ulysses is hell-bent on staying in the classical age for as long as he possibly can in this game and continuing to create pain and chaos for Joe. But right now, Joe's actually said, no, you're allowed that town center, and maybe Ulysses is going to decide to go heroic age instead here. As heroic age means underworld, potentially mythic age to follow that one as well here. And the catapult continuing to do everything that they need to do. The Son of Osiris gets pulled back. Beautiful control here from Joe to continue in this game. Those Hippocon getting taken out nicely. Now we're starting to see the shaft mine coming through. That's going to be a big boost to the gold income of Joe. But remember, the gold mine over here was getting grabbed, but there's 2 gold mines over here, and those are going to be really important in the coming future, as Joe's probably going to grab this town center in the near future. But we saw Apollo, but now we're seeing Dionysus as my thought process gets completely shifted here. I do not understand this Dionysus to save my life. Everything tells me at this point that you should be going for Apollo here for an ability to cast Underworld on these back town centers, hitting this town center or hitting this town center here at some point in the early stages of the Mythic Age for for the Zeus player, but Dionysus, what's the point here? Obviously, maybe not obviously, but maybe what Ulysses is thinking is if he gets a big bronze push here, he might be able to prevent this town center from getting grabbed, this gold mine from getting grabbed, and maybe he can get somewhat of a gold staff here in the coming minutes of this game, as the Son of Osiris getting pushed back yet again down to 100 HP, going to jump into that Migdol stronghold. We do have heavy cavalry through now for Joe. Big ticket upgrade, gets those cavalry up to 183 HP, which is significantly far in front of the Hippocon here, as Joe is still trying to get this town center up. He could be thinking about getting himself fortified town centers instead of that town center, a little bit more safe, as it were. And now we see stables coming up on this position as a bronze does get thrown down here by Ulysses, pushing back with the hack armor is 43% for the medium Hippocon compared to the 15% of the cavalry. So a big advantage here in terms of armor for the next minute and 15 seconds for the units that got Dionysus' blessing here, as Ulysses is going to try and push through. Question is, will Ulysses go for Thracian horses here or not is the big question. Or is he just go heavy cavalry and continue on his merry way here? But the Son of Osiris sitting in the back, still cleaning up these units, even with 43% hack armor. The Son of Osiris still does like, I don't know, 30 damage a shot or 40 damage a shot. As the units retreating back, Joe now starting his trade up just a little bit here, as his market is very poorly placed. We do see a Skylar over here for Ulysses, so a lot of population on the shore there that Ulysses is definitely going to be wanting to have had on the land. It is a 5 population unit there, as we do see villagers coming over and grabbing this mining camp on this position. Probably wants to chuck a Migdol stronghold down here as well, as the Migdol does get up onto this position. The town center is going to be the next course of action here for Joe, as Joe is slowly creeping ahead in this game. Picking off these units, as Ulysses has not been trading well for the past I don't know, 5-10 minutes of this game, ever since the Son of Osiris has shown up. As the Son of Osiris is going to be pulling back, trying to grab this town center. Probably could be empowering that one up and getting it very, very soon here. Joe's gold is still very low. He's grabbing this gold mine over here. We do see a Hippocon coming over and causing just a little bit of pain for Joe here, but I mean, heavy cavalry are going to be able to deal with this completely fine. And now we're starting to see Joe getting these brutally strong lummies out. These things are absolute monsters of units, but yes, the Odysseus is going to be able to take them out nice and easily. Meanwhile, we see these catapults being very brave here, moving forward onto this town center, trying to just be a little bit of a distraction. They get taken down very quickly to enemy cavalry here, as the Son of Osiris getting chased down yet again. 16 HP, 13 HP, 10 HP, nope. 13 HP remaining. The heavy cavalry do manage to push back those medium Hippocon there, as Thracian horses is coming through now for Ulysses. That's going to help out these Hippocon a ton here against the cavalry, but is it going to be enough is the big question here, as Joe's economy gigantic. He should be able to sell some resources here. Yeah, he could be selling food, he could be selling wood and being fantastic. Thank you so much for the 3 months, Scotty. Nice to see you, my friend. How are you doing? I hope everything is wonderfully fine for you. Mason's on the way now for Ulysses as well, as the Son of Osiris gets taken out here, and the Hippocon doing everything they can to make things very difficult for Joe. Joe now getting himself copper mailers, is going to start getting himself those very much needed armory upgrades, and Ulysses pushing through with his Hippocon over here. Again, 195 HP now with Thracian horses, but Ulysses still doesn't have himself heavy cavalry, which is the big ticket upgrade to deal with these raw cavalry much easier here, as he's trying to push in, going to pull back just a little bit, going to fight underneath these Migdol strongholds. He doesn't have crenellations, but it's not that big of a deal here, as those units are going to be fighting as best as they can. Joe has himself 3 Migdols producing right now. He could be making mercenary cavalry here, throwing a marker down on this position to get a safer trade route here. We see the cavalry coming onto this position as well. Meanwhile, we see a very cheeky siege works getting dropped over here. How did Joe get over here? Was there a dock? Was there a rock? Nobody knows, but he's on. He's into Ulysses' back position here with these 2 siege works getting dropped. But the problem is Joe doesn't really have the time right now to do anything here with his army. We see the Hippocon coming over here to take down these units, but they're under double Migdol fire and Town Center fire if Joe notices that his Town Center is targeting down a stable here. But Joe's still pushing through. Joe might want to think about getting himself the upgrade Desert Winds in the near future, as well as Champion Camelry. As the raid's coming through here, there are villagers on this wood line over here. It looks like Joe does miss that just a little bit, as the villagers are going to be making their way over onto this gold mine. And Joe retreating back with his heavy cavalry. He will spot these villagers, but will he actually notice that they're there or not? Meanwhile, tons of idle villagers here for Ulysses, as Ulysses is in desperate need of finding a gold mine. He does have this gold mine in the back over here. He's also got a little bit of gold in his home base as he's trying to grab this one as best as he can. The cavalry swarming around as well, as these Toxotes are feeling mightily out of place in this game. But Hephaestus on the way for Ulysses is going to help him out a ton here. And we see some barracks getting thrown down for Joe on the front on this position, as we're going to see this town center getting targeted down very, very shortly here as well. As Joe wanders over here, he finds 25 villagers gathering. They do get pulled off and start shanking away, but the army is far away, as these heavy cavalry are going to be able to deal with them incredibly fast. We see some nice micro from Joe going after those Toxotes in the back of the army here. The cavalry are going to swing over here to try and take down the villagers as well here. More villagers coming through for Ulysses. He's at 75 villager count here as Hephaestus does come through, and things are looking scary for Joe now as Hephaestus is in. There is no underworld that he has to worry about, but the Plenty Vault plus potential Colossus plus Myrmidon going to be an option here for Ulysses. Is very, very tough to deal with, but Ulysses' economy is incredibly weak at this point, and Joe has got ideas of making siege towers and taking this town center down. I think I would prefer to see him just chuck a Migdol slightly out of range and then some catapult with some walls around it. But that's not what's going to be happening here, as we do see the villagers continuing to fight back. Joe is still at 145 or 145 population, but he is going to be pulling back to his own gold mine. He does have to worry about this just a little bit. He's got 16 camel caravans, so it's not the end of the world, but this is the last gold mine that Joe's really got access to without pushing Ulysses off his own gold mine over here. As more units pushing in over onto this position, we do have ourselves full copper versus just, we got bronze mail through for the cavalry though, so that's going to help him out a ton here in these fights, as Joe is trying to produce his units as best as he can. He does force Ulysses back here as the siege towers roll in onto this town center here. And is Ulysses going to notice or not is the big question. Even if he does notice it, is he going to have the units here to deny this? As we've got 4 spearmen as well to take down the villagers here. And this town center is not long for this world. That is 5 siege towers. Are we seeing more getting produced? No, that's it. A brutally strong push here from Joe to take that town center down. Meanwhile, villagers over here getting targeted by mercenary cavalry. Cavalry over here pushing through onto this position, not really able to make too much ground, but it doesn't matter because the town center is down, and in that position, in that situation, Ulysses does decide to tap out, granting Joe his second win in this series. As Forge of Olympus is coming in, Ulysses trying to maintain his composure in this game, but Joe too strong, too sneaky, gets the siege works down and gets the sneaky town center kill. But momentum was 100% Joe in Joe's court here. I'm actually super interested about this resource total. Ulysses was so far in front of the resources just because of the way that Joe chose to play this game. But this is the story. Joe's killed 376 units. Ulysses has killed 221 units. And that is everything to do with Ulysses choosing to not make hoplites in this game. If Ulysses doesn't go for Toxotes here and goes for hoplites, Hippocon instead of Toxotes, then the army which Joe is making here seems a lot easier to deal with. You get the hoplites, they can deal with the cavalry. You get the Hippocon, they can deal with the cavalry and the chariot archers as well to boot, and then you get everything you need. You just have to macro a little bit differently, get a lot more farms and to afford it all. but you can definitely do it there. But remember, Ulysses did decide to stay in the classical age here, go 3 town centers. He could have gone 2 town centers here, gone mythic age and had a much different game, but did go for this plan, and Joe did punish him. Level series, ladies and gentlemen. Joe's only got 1 Egyptian god left, though. We'll see if he's going to go in with set next game or pick something different. If you guys are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.